You're watching CCN, Clarksville Community Network. Produced by Goodwin Productions. Powered by CDE Lightband.
It's everything in this town. It's cousin versus cousin, brother versus brother. This game and this rivalry game is so crazy.
Clarksville is such a great rivalry. The atmosphere, you know, the kids are packed, they get into it.
Even the parents are getting involved, the students get involved. It's the big one in this town. It's the only game in town that plays for a trophy. My name is Ethan Schmidt, and I'm the wide receivers coach at Clarksville High School. It is the most talked about rivalry in this town. It was bred because Rossview was formed out of Clarksville High School. You know, that's where the students were all split from. And so when you think about it, Clarksville High is this, 100+ years of football. Rossview's only on 20, but before those 20 years of Rossview, those were all CHS kids.
Coach Todd Hood at Rossview High School, the head football coach, and also teach physical education at the school. If you look at the history of the school, it was sort of pulling from Clarksville area. Clarksville got to be big over there, so they pulled Rossview out and made that school, which is sort of the Clarksville type kids, that area. There was a kid, he sort of created the shield, which in turn created the game, the Warfield shield, which has been really neat for a student in our school to create that.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Troglin. I've been covering high school sports off and on here in Clarksville, dating all the way back to 1988. These two schools are so close to each other. The Warfield Shield game has been an incredible series. We sit there around the state and we hear about these football games that have 10,000 people at. And you think, well, wouldn't you love to see that here in Clarksville? Well, we do get that. Maybe not 10,000, but it's up there. That game is so fun because of the student section, because it is packed. Right now, Clarksville kind of owns that series, but there was a time where that series was kind of going back and forth, back and forth. A lot of people are like, well, wouldn't you like to see that game later in the season? Actually, I kind of like it early like it is because you're trying to get into the high school football season and get into the passion of Friday night football. And you get a game like that early, to me anyway, that really kind of ignites that passion that hopefully will carry through the rest of the season.
Hi, I'm Sam Lucas. I coach D-line at Rossview High School. We use the motto, burn that ship, because last year's ship didn't go the way we wanted. So we try to use the motto, burn that ship and get better. And each day we try to not think about the past, get better, and do things to make us as a team better. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, or a little town outside of Charleston called Goose Creek, South Carolina. I've served in the military 6 years, transitioned here with my wife and our 5 kids, 4 girls and 1 boy. On our previous assignment in Fort Benning, I was coaching a school called Calvary Christian, and the passion that I had doing it, we were able to win a state championship, and I moved to the area. I was like, hey baby, I'm going to continue this passion. I played high school 4 years, and I actually went on to play college football at South Carolina State University. I played outside linebacker and fullback in the backfield, and so I was like, hey, I want to take my talents that I have to impart in another young man, because it's good to have something, but if you can't impart in somebody else, then you just be an ineffective individual.
Jamar Cartnell is one of the toughest players I feel that we have on the team. Been our running back, and last year when Davin went down, who's our starting quarterback, Jamar made the transition to play quarterback. And you normally don't have your fullback starting at quarterback for you. You just don't do that. You try to find somebody else that can maybe throw the football, and Jamar learned the offense so well from the quarterback position that I kind of look at it a lot of times that we have two guys that can run quarterback playing in our two most valuable positions. Jamar has been absolutely dominant. He's very physical. He grows each and every week. He can tell him this is what you need to improve on, and he does it. He knows the offense is going to run through him. Davin continues to grow. I know a lot of his early on issues I felt this season have come from the fact where, he had to miss all last year, and it's something that is very, mentally draining on a quarterback to have to miss an entire year, and you can't control the game like you normally could.
I love seeing Geringer back at quarterback for Clarksville High School. He missed last season. He's an outstanding baseball player. Missed last season. I was hoping he was going to come back and have a really good senior year, and he is. That is one of the better storylines that I've enjoyed watching this season.
Davin came in as a freshman leading into a playoff game, and he won it. And he was able to push his team from his freshman year from that moment on. Early on this year, I think a lot of times it was I had to put the team on my shoulders. I had to be the one. And I think in the Rossview game, you really saw him really start trusting a lot more, really start trusting Jamar a lot more. I think really the team in general, they run through 6 and 7. That's the guys. You can watch any film and you know that 6 and 7 are going to lead that ball down the field.
Well, Reed Bryant is a sophomore quarterback. Funny thing is, last year he got hurt in his first game. So as a JV player, quarterback, he missed the whole season. So he's gone, so he comes back and he works really hard. He's a student of the game, and the kids really rallied around him. He's done a really good job leading our team. The young kid coming into 6A football, the atmosphere that we play in, the arenas, and the kids rallying around him, they really respect his play. We call him DeAntoine Young has done a great job running the ball for us. As a junior, I think he's found his groove in how to get him north and south with the football. That's been big for us. Brandon Rush, he's done a good job. He's a senior, run the ball. Played some Wildcat. Making some good cuts. So it's been real big for those players to step up and play big for us this year.
He's a nose guard, Jefferson Brown. He actually has been like an anchor for us. And then we have a senior and a junior on the line. It's been really a foundation of our line. They're playing fast, they play physical, and most importantly, they have fun.
It's basically the same offense, obviously jazzed up a little bit more with different players, different places. The ideas are still there. We're going to run triple offense. That's what we've ran since the Bob Ateka days of Clarksville High School. So when Coach Shelby was a player, we ran triple. When I was a player, we ran triple. When all of our coaches who are younger than me were there, we ran triple. And we're going to run triple now. It comes down to having a very good fullback, but it comes down to having a very intelligent quarterback as well. The difference from week 1, where we turned the ball over 4 times in crucial points and lost the game, to week 3 was these guys have a lot more trust and faith in each other. James Dalrymple was a guy who last year broke his foot in a game and he missed his entire freshman year, but we were like, hey, this guy's going to be great. We can feel it. And then he came back this year, the week 1, and was starting to get back into it. So, Davin started trusting him, and you saw that late in the game. He scored our last touchdowns. Amari Galbraith, who's kin to the late, great Harry Galbraith, is on our team this year, number 2, and he's fantastic. I believe it's Harry Galbraith's great nephew is Amari. What I love most about Amari is just the fact of, he knows his lineage. It's hard to not walk out of our field house and see the big stone statue out there for Harry Galbraith. We have the big thing out front that says, where he played. Amari's playing on Harry Galbraith Field.
Harry Galbraith, without question, is one of the all-time greats to come through Clarksville. I remember when he was at Clarksville High, I was still in high school. He really was just this very special athlete. He had a heart of gold. He was such a tremendous leader in the community. When I was still sports editor at the Leaf Chronicle, we developed the Harry Galbraith Award. That award was to recognize the outstanding offensive linemen in Montgomery County. Offensive linemen don't get a lot of recognition. They really don't. And if we ever had a Montgomery County Sports Hall of Fame, which I would love to see us do someday, have a small museum or something, plaques on the wall, to me, Harry Galbraith should be a member of that first class.
For the next 2 years that we have him, this season and then 2 more, he's always going to be playing on his great uncle's field. He has gigantic shoes to fill if you think about it. Not a sports journalist in this area that won't tell you he's the greatest player from Clarksville. Amari knows what he has to live up to, but he's gotten so much better in just 1 year of being a freshman to now a sophomore, and just a great player. Our offense has a lot of great senior leadership to it, and then you look at a lot of our other skills positions, and we're starting a lot of sophomores, and that's crazy to think of how talented you are from top to bottom kind of deal. It does get split sometimes, and we have kids that, from different generations who, one of them went to CHS, one went to Rossview, and now sometimes we're seeing the same pattern now. A cousin goes to CHS, cousin goes to Rossview, so it's the big one in this town. The last year came down to a 50-yard field goal. Andrew Irvin, he knocked it in. There's about 2 minutes left in the entire game. Had a big 4th down stop to kind of end it all. Jamar Carnell made a really good play. I think our guys really rallied around the fact of last year there was a lot of things that coming into the season. We had a lot of question marks on who we were and where we wanted to be, and a lot of players getting moved around. And then this year, everybody was pretty much back in the same spots that they should have been at. And you could kind of tell the difference of just, where our offense was, where our defense was, and how fired up they came to play this year. I was pretty fired up for our team. Back in the day, we used to call them the Clarksville Crazies. I think that's still kind of maybe the nickname for them. I don't know if the student section still calls themselves that, but if they do, that's a great tradition to kind of continue. They're going to travel everywhere. We had a good contingency in Springfield. They still came down to watch us there, and when you hear that Rossview's on the other side of the field, you'll bring out a good crowd. Vice versa, you'll see the same thing in the stands. Rossview, they came out all black. Black uniforms, and we went versus that, and it goes back to that same kind of concept of brother versus brother kind of deal. A lot of times those are families sitting next to each other in church on Sunday, and they've been talking about it for 5 days leading into, right after the pastor gets done saying amen, they're going out there and saying, all right, I'll see you on Friday. Especially in town when you can go, 3 miles down the road and you're right there. Our student section, their parents, our parents.
It's been a great rivalry, it's just the atmosphere, the kids are packed, they get into it, and really that's in all of our sports, in baseball, basketball, soccer, it's a big rivalry for us, so it's been great to have that atmosphere. It's fun to coach in it, it's fun for the players to play in it, and it's just something we look forward to every year.
Win or loss, how the feelings are and everything like that, but to still know, on Sunday, you're going to be back in church and you'll have bragging rights for another 364 days or whatever it is. This game and this rivalry game is so crazy. You don't know who's up when, what's going to matter. I think there was a few years ago where one of the teams was up 14-3, were similar to what we were, and then the final score ended up being 24-14. so you don't really know who's going to come out in that second half fired up or not. And I think that was just kind of the main mentality. You always want to be physical, and that's just football, I think, in general, is that you want to come out and be more physical than the person you're going up against.
The off-season was really phenomenal, how they worked and increased their size, their strength, their weight gain. So we really charted that all winter and into the summer. It's been really good for us, and we've taken that early into the season.
I think to play Rossview football. For Rossview football is fast, physical, and have fun. If you can't do those three things, then you don't want to play football, because you got to be fast, you got to be physical. And if you don't have fun doing something in life, then don't do it.
Being physical as much as possible, and I think Coach Shelby always does a really good job of letting our team know, hey, these are the guys that are going to make plays. These are the guys that we need to be more physical with. These are guys that are going to be physical back. So if you can't rise to the challenge or the occasion, you're not going to win the game. And I think that's something that's a point of emphasis every week, is just, can you be physical? But, you add in that it's Rossview. A lot of these guys know each other, and they want to lower the shoulder a little bit harder. They want to run through somebody. They want to make that highlight reel.
You have to mentally get better in your game. You have to mentally understand the game itself, improving your technique, but understanding the game of football and perfecting yourself and taking it to a higher level. And I think our kids this year has done a good job of trying to understand that part of the game.
With Rossview, it is definitely a feeling of, hey, this is a team that, if you lose to them, they're not that far away from you to tell you that you lost to them. So being physical is definitely something in that game that you strive for. I had a chance to play in this rivalry game, and Clarksville High having an amazing winning streak, and then going into the first loss ever was for the first Warfield Shield game. I happened to be on that team for Clarksville High School, so it's a little bit of a bitter subject, but a lot of our guys play AAU basketball together. They play travel ball together. They play travel baseball together. They've known each other for a long time. I mean, and that's something that's really great about this county. Grown up maybe, 2 roads over. They went to the same elementary school together and then split to different middle schools. So a lot of our guys do know each other in this town in general.
Our county, we're growing everywhere. We got a new school opening up Kirkwood because of the overpopulation. You're seeing apartments and housing. So yeah, it's affected everybody, but our staff and our school does a great job in organizing that. We've got great kids, and it's really just fun to teach. I've been teaching for 30 years. I just love teaching kids, and that hasn't changed a bit.
Our county's growing so big, and these schools are so close to each other, but it's just how things are zoned, and then we're going to multiply that next year when we open up Kirkwood High School.
It's sort of a rebuilding year. We lost a few kids from last year, and we're trying to regroup. We got a pretty good group of seniors. Some things haven't went the way we wanted to, but that's sort of like life itself. So we're just trying to, each week, trying to regroup, put our game plan in, and watch kids grow and try to perfect what we're trying to do, and just tidy up some things, you might say, and just perfect the things that we're trying to do, and just keep moving forward in the right direction, keep a positive attitude.
Football is like an outlet, because we all go through things in life. We all go through things throughout our regular day. But when you're on the field, you're around people who, like we call the military, like brothers. It's like a family. So you're out there grinding together, you're working out together, you're eating together, you're crying together when things don't go the way you want it. However, you become that knit family. So whenever you know you can lean on somebody, it's that person to your left and your right. And so we tell the players, hey, no matter what you got going on at home, no matter what you got going on in school, this is your outlet. Let this be an expression of what you can't express in your house or on your job, in the classroom or your everyday walk.
Anytime that you're playing a team that you're down or it's not your way at halftime, in some situations you might be down more than you want to be down. Number one, you always address, is it schematically? So what's our scheme? Is it our scheme? Are we not lined up right? We're not blocking the right guy? You always check those things first. You always check your adjustments. What can we do to make an adjustment to put us in a better situation? I think once you look at that and get that fixed, the next thing you have to look at is players. Are you playing up to your ability? Are you executing what we're trying to do? And then you have to work on their attitude. You have to rally them and get their energy level back up, get some confidence in them, and go out and play very hard. For yourself and for your team and for your school, and rally and try to make a comeback and do the best job that you can.
You fight to the end, you fight to the finish. And no matter what the situation or my outcome, you'll have adversity in life. So to overcome that, you just keep driving on and keep going. So we tell the players, no matter what the scoreboard looks, you just do your best, you do your job, you go 100% in the scoreboard to take yourself. Yes, sometimes you might fall short. However, did you leave it all on the field? Did you do your best? Did you do your assignment? I just try to let the players know, no matter what you think you can't do, just tap to that inner self with that heart. When one guy get tired, like, come on, guy, come on, let's go. We still got some more quarters to play. The clock's not at a 0-0 yet, and that goes back to putting the team on your shoulders. I always tell them, I say, hey, are we down and out? Who's going to put the team on their shoulders?
For me, and I think for a lot of the guys, I saw it from Rossview players, those guys weren't giving up. They were still fighting through, and I think that's a big thing of this game because, for the seniors especially, this is the last time. You may play them in basketball again, you may play them in, baseball or whatever during the year, but it's the last time you step out on the field for the Shield. That's a big kind of motivator of just like, hey, what do you want your last memory to be? What do you want, the last time that you're on this field, whether you're in enemy territory or not, whether it's a home game for you or away game, to me, it's always been the fact of like, hey, play to that last play because you never know what's going to happen. That's something that comes with being a good teammate. And I think that's the thing that we preach a lot is just being a good teammate.
And I think I've learned over the years, I think as a coach and as a player, I try to teach them, as long as you play your best, that's all you can do. So I think if you feel at the end of the night, if I've coached my best, or if the players have played their best, we can sleep with that.
The season's not done yet. There's so much more season ahead of you. I mean, we're only heading into week 4 now. I think that's the big thing is just kind of trying to still build off that and, not giving up on your team in general. And that's kind of what we preach in games if we find ourselves on the opposite side of where we were on Friday is just, don't give up on your team no matter what. That's just a big part of football is if you can be a good teammate that way, your team sees that, whether it's win or loss, they see you're there for them. The Shield is always bittersweet to me. The Shield was started my senior year, and it was decided upon by the student bodies of Clarksville and Rossview that we were going to play for the Shield. And my senior class lost the Shield on the first ever Shield game. And so I've never had a chance to win the Shield on Rossview soil until I became a coach. After the game, Davin had a great line. Davin kind of looked at us and he grabbed the Shield and he said, "This is the first time I've ever been able to touch this Shield." His freshman year, he didn't get to play against Rossview. His sophomore year was COVID year, and we didn't play Rossview that year. And then his junior year, he was injured. And so that's kind of something that is special. It's pretty cool, pretty unique to our area. For everybody that plays in that game, just to feel that shield and just to hold it one time, it's hard to describe because I know the feeling that a lot of those guys have over there. You know, I never had a chance to hold it, never once, until last year at home when we won it. And now we've held it for 6 straight years, for 5 straight games. You can tell how special it is for those guys because he looked at it like almost like this is everything. And he's got a point because in that moment, it is everything.
For current and exclusive content, subscribe to CDE Lightband, connecting you at the speed of light.